everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my September wrap up and my October TBR, and this one's going to be a long one because in the month of September, I read 16 books, potentially 17 if I finish my current read, because I'm filming this on the 28th. So I've got 2 days, and with how fast I've read the rest of the series, the rest of the books in that series, I may finish it before the end of the month. And I'll just add in a little like thing saying if I finished it or not. But yeah, no, here is all the books that I have read in the month of September. But before I get on to them, I would just like to say, please like, comment and subscribe and hit that little bell below so you can get notifications whenever I upload. I am on a mission to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, and I'm currently on 53 at the moment. So it is steadily going up, and now that I upload twice a week, I think hopefully it means I can get to the 100 subscribers before the end of the year. If not, it's not the end of the world, but it would be a dream of mine and a perfect birthday and Christmas present because my birthday is in December. Okay, so I had a very, very good reading month. I have never read this much in a month, in one singular month. My reading goal for this year was 50 books, and I've already surpassed that goal. I've read 53, and this month is the month that put me over that and got me really far ahead. So let's go through them all. The first book that I read was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I decided to read this because I felt myself starting to slump because I was reading a lot of fantasy. I read a lot of fantasy in August, and I was in the middle of reading the Throne of Glass series, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm about to slump. I don't want to start not liking this series because I absolutely adore the Throne of Glass series. Let's read a romance. So I picked up this one because I had the audiobook of it on, I think, Audible. It's either Audible or Spotify. I had the audiobook of this on. 5 goddamn stars. 5 goddamn stars. I adored this book so much. I love Stassi. I love Nate. I just think they're so fun. Stassi is so like funny and sarcastic, and I just had the best time reading this book. I love the characters, and honestly, it set me down the path for a lot of the books that I read this month because I had a very, very romance heavy month, but this story is just so good, and I honestly have to say I think this is one of the healthiest relationships I've ever seen in a book series, because most of the time there's a lot of toxicity in book relationships, and I still love them because I'm blind to red flags when it comes to book guys, but yeah, no, I absolutely adored this book, and I think everyone should read it. If you're not a fan of smut, definitely don't read it because it's a very spicy book, but if you don't care, read it because it's so good. And listen to the audiobook because the audiobook is amazing. The next book that I read was The Goal by Al Kennedy. This is the 4th book in the Off-Campus series. 5 stars again. I loved this. I had the audiobook of this, so I listened to that. I had the best time, and I have to say, I think this is my favourite book in the Off-Campus series. I think my order of like favourite to like, I guess like least favourite, I don't have a least favourite because they're all 5 stars to me, but I think it goes The Goal, The Score, The Mistake, and then The Deal. I just absolutely adore this book. I love the accidental pregnancy trope. It's one of my favourite tropes, and I just had the best time reading this book. I loved Tucker, and I love Sabrina, and I just loved their story and everything to go with it, and it was just an incredible time, and I absolutely adored it. And so everyone needs to read this series because it's so good. It's such a good series. I'm such a sports romance girly now, and I'm obsessed with every kind of sports romance. The 3rd book I read is probably my favourite book of the month. Well, it's tied with one other book for being my favourite book of the month, and this was the book club pick for Alan's Patreon book club, and that was Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I did not read this version. I listened to the audiobook and read it on my Kindle, and I read it in one sitting because I stayed up all night reading it because I was that in love with the characters. I love Win, I love Bo, I loved their relationship, I loved the disability representation in this book, I loved the accidental pregnancy trope, and the entire time I was reading this book, all I could think was, Em is going to love this. Now, I've mentioned Em on my channel quite a few times. She's one of my bookish besties. I absolutely adore her, and we have very, very similar tastes in books. And the accidental pregnancy trope / single parent trope are our like favorite tropes in books, and the entire time I was reading this book I was like, oh my god, she needs to read this, and I told her about it. And then recently I sent her some books off of her wish list, and this was on her wish list, and I sent her this because I need her to read this book so goddamn badly. But yeah, no, I absolutely adored this book. Wynne is such a strong female lead. Bo is such a sweetheart. And again, like Icebreaker, one of the healthiest book relationships I've ever seen. I think this is going to be like, I think it's going to be very unlikely that another book beats this book out for being my top book of the year, because I absolutely adored it so much. And I had the best time reading it, and I want to reread it again, and I only read it like a couple of weeks ago. Now, changing my tune quite a lot with the next one, Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. Now, this book took me 9 months to read. It's not even that long of a book. I think it's like 300 and something pages. It took me 9 months to read, and I ended up giving this a 2.75. So I read this as a buddy read with one of my friends from Alan's Patreon server, Adara. We read this together as a buddy read, and this book had so much potential to be amazing, and it just fell so flat. Like, the only good things about this book was the ending, because it shocked me a little bit, and the trans representation. Those were the only good things in this book. The rest of it just fell so flat. It was so slow. I did not enjoy the writing, and I just did not have a good time at all. I gave it a 2.75. It was looking at being a 2-star for the majority of the book, but the ending did make up for a little bit. But it couldn't be anything higher than a 2.75 for me, because I just genuinely had such a rough time reading this book because of how long it took me to read it, and just how flat it fell when it had so much potential to be absolutely incredible. And it makes me sad that it wasn't. And I think there's going to be a second book in this series. I may pick it up, but it won't be at the tip top of my TBR when it comes out. I may read it, I may not. It just honestly completely depends. But if the second book doesn't ever come out, I won't be fussed, if I'm being completely honest. So the 5th book I read this month was one that was on my Kindle. It was on Kindle Unlimited. After reading Cemetery Boys, I just needed something that was very quick and easy and spicy, and that was Scream for Us by Molly Doyle. It's just an 80-page novella, and I had the best time reading this. I think I gave this like a 4-star. It was just fun, it was quick, it was like a little dark romance, and I had a really fun time reading it. And yeah, no, just I enjoyed my time while I read it, and it basically forced me to not go into a reading slump after this book, because it gave me the motivation to keep reading, because it made me realise there's better books out there. I still had a great time reading Cemetery Boys, but that was because of Adara's company and not because of the book. But yeah, no, Scream for Us got a 4-star, and it was very fun and quick and easy. I just rambled to my camera for 5 minutes and then realised I wasn't even recording. Fuck's sake. Anyway, so after I finished reading Scream for Us, I read Melt for Us by Molly Doyle as well. This is another novella following the same characters. I did not enjoy this one as much as Scream for Us, and I just basically read it because while I was reading those books, I was filming a video, which was this one, which is already up, which was me letting a random number generator pick how long I read for, and I was starting to slump by the end of the week because I had read so much. So I read that, and I only rated it a 3-star because I did not enjoy it as much as Scream for Us. And then after I read that, I reread the entirety of the Heartstopper series again. So anyone who knows me knows how much I adore this series. It's my comfort series. It brings me so much joy and happiness, and I just feel safe when I'm reading these comics. I've read all of them multiple times. I've read the first one 4 times, and then the rest of them I've read around about 2 or 3 times each, and I just love them so much. It's kind of an annual thing for me to reread them, and I did actually record a vlog of me rereading these books, and that will be going up on my channel on Friday, so you'll be able to see that this week. But yeah, no, I don't need to give my rating for these. Everyone knows I give them a 5-star. I don't care if people think you shouldn't give comics a 5-star. I personally don't care. I love them so much, and I will give them a 5-star every single time. The next book I read after that was Mile High by Liz Tom Ford, and I read this in preparation for another video that's already up on my channel, which was reading my favourite booktubers 5-star reads. There's going to be a part 2 of that video coming in either October or November. So if you saw that video, you know I had The Right Move as one of my books for that video, so I needed to read Mile High first. Now, I already knew I was going to love this series because it's one of M's favourite series, and we, like I said before, we have very, very similar taste in books. I did not realise how goddamn obsessed I was going to be. I've been hyper-fixating on it. Honestly, I love this series so much. I love the characters, I love the romance, I love the banter, I just love everything about it. I gave this a 5-star. It was so good, so fun. I had the best time reading it, and I just think everyone needs to read this series. And I didn't even listen to the audiobook of these ones. Like, normally I get through books so fast because I listen to the audiobooks. No, I just read this because I tried the audiobook and it pissed me off. The guy did a really gruff, growly voice, and I was just like, no, I'm not listening to this. But I just love this series so much, and I'm kind of obsessed. Which then brings me on to the next book I read, which was The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford. Ryan Shea, the perfect man. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The perfect man, and no one can convince me otherwise. He is now my #1 book boyfriend. He's so fun, he's so sweet, he's so kind, and he's just the best man, and I need him. To be real, I would turn straight for that man. And I think this is one of my new all-time favourite books. This is the one that's battling it out with Out on a Limb for being my top book of the month, because I just loved it that goddamn much, because it was just so fun and I enjoyed it so much. And I need to stop, I'm just going to keep rambling on about the same things. But yeah, no, just phenomenal book. The next one I read after that, this is from the same video, was Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series, and I gave this a 4.25. This was very fun, quick, easy to read. I listened to the audiobook of this on Spotify, and I had a great time. I just had a lot of fun with it, and it made me laugh. And one of the things that made me laugh the most, which I mentioned in my video where I read this, when they're referring to female fans of sports, they call them a something bunny, which makes me laugh so hard. In the off-campus series, they call them puck bunnies. In this, because it's bull riding, they're buckle bunnies, and I don't know what it is about that, but it just makes me laugh, and I don't know why. But yeah, no, this was really good, really fun, and I am really looking forward to reading the rest of the series. I just recently got the audiobook of Heartless, which is the second book in the series, on Audible, and I'm looking to read that very soon because I kind of keep thinking about it, so I'm obviously going to enjoy the series. And then the last one that I read from that same video was The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I gave this a 4-star. I did enjoy this book. It was very fun, quick and easy, but it was very, very similar to another book that I read in 2023, which is Ghosted by Sarah Reddy. And I think I gave that a 4-star as well. I liked the concept. I liked the magical realism element to it. It just wasn't a 5-star read for me, but I still had a great time with it, and it's definitely a good book. And then finally, the last one that I have actually finished for this month is Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford. Are we even surprised? I finished this last night, and again, a 5-star read. I think this is my all-time favourite sports romance series now. Don't get me wrong, I love the off-campus series, but there's just something about these books. What kind of crack does Liz Tom Ford put in her books that has made me so addicted? I've read this entire series, basically, in this month alone, and it's just so good. It's so fun. I love all the characters, and this one was so amazing. I loved Kai and Miller, and it's got the single parent trope, which is one of my all-time favorite tropes. I adore it so much. This was just another 5-star read for me. I'm hyper fixated on this series, and I cannot wait to read the next book in this series, which swiftly moves me on to the last book that I may potentially finish for this month. This is Play Along, which is the 4th book in the Windy City series. I haven't started this yet because obviously I finished Cut Up last night and I wanted to take a bit of a break from reading because I read the last 50% of that in a day. But this one is, I'm going to start today. This is the 4th book and the last one that's out at the moment. Book 5 comes out, I think, next year. And honestly, with how fast I read the rest of these books, I could probably finish this within the next couple of days because there's 3 days left in the month. But I do have to finish getting stuff sorted for uni on Monday because I've got a bit of pre-reading I need to do before my lectures. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to read this, and I think this might definitely be one that I finish before the end of the month. If I do, I will insert my rating and here, or if I didn't finish it, I'll say I didn't finish it. But yeah, no, that is the last one that I'm potentially reading for the month of September. So now that we've gone through all the books that I read in September, I think it's time we go on to my October TBR, and this one is long because I've kind of picked out quite a few books, and I think I want to pick out 20 in total. But yeah, let's get on with the ones that I have already picked out. So we have had a slight location change. This is part of this video, and that is because I do need my shelves behind me for some of it. So for my TBR so far, these are the ones that I've already got picked out. Now, to pick my TBR for October, I did message all of my friends and said to them, if I send you my physical TBR bookshelf on Goodreads, will you please pick a book for me to read in the month of October? And they all picked one for me. So yeah, let's go through them. So the first one was actually picked for me by my mum because yes, she is one of my friends. And I said to her, look at my bookshelf, pick a book for me to read in October. And she picked Collide by Kabara. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm looking forward to reading this because it's a sports romance, and as I've said before, I love a bit of a sports romance. And I've heard good things about this book, so I am very much looking forward to reading it, and it's also got the really cute sprayed edges. Then the next one was picked for me by my lovely friend Ida, and she picked Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. Well, technically 3rd, I guess, because the Assassin's Blade is like prequel. So, but yeah, no, I have already started this. I'm currently 72 pages in. I did like stop reading this partway through because like I said, I was feeling a slump coming on, and then I haven't picked it back up again, but I will be reading this soon because I am reading it for a video that is going up on my channel within the next month. The 3rd book was picked for me by the lovely Lex, and that was Legacy of the Heirs by Laura Carter. This is the 2nd book in the Lost Kingdom saga, and I'm very excited to read this. I think it's going to be so fun because I loved Secrets of the Dead when I read that. The 3rd book was picked by, no, this is 3rd? No, 4th book was picked by the person who causes all of my hyperfixations. That's Consider Me. Em chose this one for me. This is one of her favourite series. And I just already know I'm going to love it. Every time I read a book she recommends, I love it. So, you know, this is the next book that's on my TBR for October. The next book was picked by the lovely Geordie, and she decided that she said, I want to make you cry again and continue my streak. So she picked The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. You're evil, Geordie. I love you, but you're evil. So she said she wants to continue her streak of making me cry at books. So this is going to on my TBR for October, and I'm scared because I've seen the movie. I watched the movie before I read the book. I watched the movie when I wasn't really a reader. And then the next one that was picked by One of my other friends was this was picked by Remy, the love of my life. He picked Looking for Alaska by John Green because he loved this when he read it a while ago. So yeah, I am looking forward to reading this, and also I know Geordie also loves this book. And then the final one that was picked for me by other people, so I put a poll in Alan's Discord and I said pick a book for my October TBR for me, and they all picked The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, I think it's pronounced. I am very much looking forward to reading this. It's getting to that time of year. It's the witchy Halloweeny time, and this just looks like such a cozy little fantasy book. So I'm looking forward to reading this, and I think it's going to be an amazing time. So, yeah, that is the last one that was picked for me by other people. Now, these are the ones that I've picked for myself, kind of, and then ones that I need to read for book clubs. So there's two that I picked just for myself to read, and the first one is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I'm reading this for a video on my channel, which will be going up in October, and I already know I'm going to love this because I loved Icebreaker, so if this one lets me down, I will cry. And then the next one is one that, if I don't get to this month, I will be okay with that because this book is chunky, but that is Beneath the Wildflower by Rosalind K. Jackson. Now this book is chunky, but I've been seeing quotes about this on my TikTok for ages, and I decided to finally buy it when I got paid recently. And it's a sapphic, grumpy sunshine billionaire romance. Now what could be better? I love a grumpy sunshine, I love a billionaire romance, and making it sapphic just makes it even better, and I'm just so excited to read this book. So yeah, and the amount of quotes I've seen for it on my Instagram, because I follow the author, it just seems immaculate, and I cannot wait to start this book. But if I don't get to it, that is okay because it is very chunky, but like the flop is immaculate. I love it. But I think this is like close to 700 pages. Yeah, it's close to 700 pages, so I might be pushing out this one with the rest of the books that I picked. So the next couple of books are ones that are for a book club that I'm in, run by my lovely friends Geordie and Em, and they have a romance one and a fantasy one, and you can either do one or the other or do both. I'm deciding to do both because I'm both a fantasy girly and a romance girly, and the one that is picked for the romance category is Cross the Line by Simone Sultani. I've heard really good things about this, and a lot of people seem to love it, so I am really looking forward to reading this, and it's an F1 romance. And also look at the spine of this, the sprayed edges. It's just so gorgeous. I can't wait to read this. And then the books that were chosen for, book that was chosen for the fantasy category was Powerless, but I'm also reading Powerful at the same time because I want to do the tandem read of them. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to these because I have heard amazing things, and I know Lex does love this series. And I loved the last fantasy series that she recommended to me, so I'm hoping I love this one just as much. And then the last book I don't actually own because I need to stop spending money on books because I bought 22 in September, but it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm going to get the audiobook of it off of Audible when I get my Audible credits soon, and that is The Book of Azrael by, I don't know who it's by, but it's by someone. The book cover will be here. This is the book club pick for Alan's server. Yeah, this is the book club pick for Alan's server, and I really loved the last two books that have been picked for there, so I have very high hopes for this one because I've had the best time reading them so far. And tonight is actually the night for the live stream about Out on a Limb, and I cannot wait to join that and just talk to everyone about the book because I had the best time with it. So that is 12 books so far. There's 3 that I haven't mentioned, and that is because they are for a video and I don't want to mention them right now. So that is 15, and like I said, I want to do 20, so I figured for the last 5 I would break out my trusty TBR jar, my TBR prompts jar, and pick out a couple of prompts for my last few books. Okay, so the first prompt, let you guys see it first, hopefully it's not upside down. A book by a POC author. Let me have a look at my shelf. So the book I picked for this prompt is King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This is the first book in the Kings of Sin series. I've read all of Anna's other work. I've read the If Love series and the Twisted series, so I am looking forward to starting this series, but I haven't also heard the best things about it, so I am a little bit nervous. But we'll see if I love this just as much as I love the rest of the books. Next prompt. Oh, drop one on the floor. A book Larry Reads loves. Let me have a look. Okay, this one was quite easy to pick. I picked Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. I know that Larry loves the Boys of Tommen series, and I have been meaning to get to this, and I think it should be pretty quick for me to read because I do have the audiobook of it. So yeah, no, I am excited to get on with this book. I'm also kind of scared because the series is very, very sad. But you know, the things we do for being a book girly. Time for prompt number 3. Free pick. Don't even need to look, I already know what I'm picking. Heartless by Elsie Silver, because I've been really wanting to read after I read Flawless. And this is single parent, so of course I have to read it. Okay, number 4. Read a Coho. Let me have a look what Cohos I haven't read yet. Okay, the Coho I picked is November 9th. I've seen this on TikTok quite a lot. So yeah, I am going to read this one. I don't know what it's about, but I tend to go into Colleen Hoover's books blind because I prefer to do it that way. If I know too much about it, I tend to not enjoy it. Okay, and now for the last prompt from my jar. A book that has been turned into a movie or a TV show. Okay, I'm gonna have to check which ones have been turned into movies or TV shows. So the one I went with for this prompt is Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepherd. I was obsessed with the Pretty Little Liars series in high school, and I've wanted to read the books ever since. And I've had this on my shelf for a while, and yes, it's the TV show cover. But you know, I'm looking forward to reading this actually, and it's quite a short book, so I don't think it should take me too long. So that is it for all the books from my October TBR. This is a very, very long TBR for me, but I did read 16. I have read 16 books in September, so maybe I can read 20 in October. I may not, but we don't know yet. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said at the start, please like, comment and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload my videos. They go up every Tuesday and Friday at 5 PM on a Tuesday and at 6 PM on a Friday, because I'm in uni on Fridays and I need to be able to get home so I can actually, you know, share the links. But yeah, no, I hope you guys enjoyed and I will catch you next time.